Hey everybody, it's Ron, and now that Keanu Reeves' BRZRKR comic is finished, I'd like to take a look at the full miniseries and give you my thoughts. This book was published by Boom Studios, which is also the home of the Dune comics I've been reviewing for the past couple of years. BRZRKR was also a very successful Kickstarter, but I was happy that it was also in comic book shops because the quality of the individual issues was great. The story follows B, or Unut, a man cursed with immortality, working for the US government and using his unique skills on covert missions. Whenever I see celebrities trying their hand at making a comic, I'm never interested because they're usually silly vanity projects, but Reeves was smart enough to get some top talent on this, co-writing with Matt Kint and giving the art duties to Ron Garney. I wouldn't say the idea is 100% original, but Keanu Reeves' execution of this premise is compelling enough to forgive that. I usually give a series about 3 issues to hook me, and this comic passed that test, which is a real accomplishment for someone like Keanu Reeves who is coming into the world of comics for the first time. The violence in this comic is very brutal, so if you don't like that type of ultra violence, this is not the book for you, because pretty much every issue has some gruesome material in it when Unut goes into his berserker fits. The first issue is really fast-paced. It's pure action for the most part, and it takes you through one of these covert missions to show the reader just how powerful Unut is, but then it hints at some deeper elements with the introduction of Diana, who kind of acts as his counselor at the start of this story. He is well aware that the government and the main antagonist, Caldwell, are using him for his abilities, but he's okay with it because he wants their help in finding an artifact that will make him mortal. I usually hate when books continuously use flashbacks instead of driving the story forward, but I ended up enjoying those parts the most because that's when his full origin is revealed and they show you how tragic his life has been for all these years. That's the stuff that really got me into the story, and it doesn't hurt that the artwork is fantastic throughout. I know Ron Garney from his work on Daredevil, Conan, and Captain America, and I really like his style, especially in this book because I bet they let him really take his time to make this book the highest quality it could be. I thought it was a good move to not draw the main character exactly like Keanu Reeves and have the comic version stand on its own, even though there are slight similarities to Reeves' appearance. Garney's work reminds me a little bit of John Romita Jr.'s stuff in the 90s and some of Frank Miller when he was doing Sin City as well. He draws action really well and his storytelling is great. I was amazed by how he drew all of the ultra violence. Every issue has eyeballs popping out and limbs flying all over the place. It was crazy. I was also very impressed with how he kept up the quality throughout all 12 of the issues and never phoned it in or had a fill-in artist once. The main baddie, Caldwell, was pretty good. I like that he wasn't just another version of Unut, even though his goal is to attain his power and find out where it came from. He's a very smart man and an archaeologist, so I like that they were able to work in some ancient artifacts into the story as well, because I like when those elements are in an action-adventure story. Diana is helping Caldwell, but you can tell she sympathizes with Unut and wants to help him more than carry out Caldwell's mission. B's partner, Jim, was also a serviceable character, sort of playing the straight man to his fantastical character, and I would say that he was mostly an ally in this, but the story is a little more complicated than that. I will say that the ending got a little confusing for me. I didn't love that the same entity that created Unut eventually gives Diana abilities because I would have preferred just Unut to be unique in this story, but at least they give her a different power involving her eyes, which looked cool. Caldwell also ends up getting this immortality at the end, and I was scared it was going to devolve into a huge brawl between the two, but luckily the writers stayed away from that cliche end battle and switched it up a little bit. The very end works on two levels. You can see it as a definitive ending that raises some questions, or it could be a setup for a sequel. So who knows what they'll do. I think this is Boom Studios' highest selling book, and it obviously did really well on Kickstarter, so I wouldn't be surprised if they made more. This would work just fine as a TV series, but I actually think it would work better if it was condensed down into a 2 or 2.5 hour movie, which is weird because I usually like that TV series have more time to develop things, but besides Unut, the other characters are sort of one-dimensional for the most part. Not saying that's a really bad thing because they work for the story. So overall, this was actually a pretty good effort by Keanu Reeves. He seems like a cool guy, and I'm sure he was doing fine financially before this endeavor, which makes me think it was done purely as a passion project and a genuine love for the medium, which is nice to see. So props to him and the whole team for making this. If you like high concept action movies, give this a shot even if you're not a comic book person, because I think you'll enjoy it. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, it's Ron here with a quick announcement. When I started this channel, I was reading and reviewing the Dune books and other sci-fi related material, and most of you might not know that I'm also a musician. So when I was reading these sci-fi books, I started to get inspired and decided to make my own soundtrack to use for my videos, and now I'm excited to tell you all about the first volume in the Ron Reviews original soundtrack collection. This album includes the first 17 tracks featured on my channel, and it's available now exclusively on Bandcamp. Be sure to check the description of this video for the link to the album. Thanks so much for the support so far. I know I'm just starting out, but I hope you're having as much fun as I am. So check out the original soundtrack Volume 1 on Bandcamp. This music is great if you want something moody and atmospheric to listen to while you're reading some science fiction. I think you're going to love it. Thanks.